Hi, everybody. I'm Willie the Wildcat. My job as mascot of Warren County High School is an important one. As mascot, I represent the pride of our students, parents, teachers, and administrators and how they feel about our school. That pride creates unity and belonging among the many diverse groups within our school and community and inspires students to do their best, both in their academics and in their extracurricular activities. As a mascot, I believe that kindness is key to my job and to a happy life for all of my students. I'm so glad you're reading Cleo Edison Oliver, Playground Millionaire. In this chapter, Cleo and her classmates all share their names and how they got them. Cleo explains how she got her first name from her birth mom and shares that she is adopted. Let's hear about the name game in chapter 5. Lexi Lewis had been named after a car. Cleo would keep that information in her back pocket just in case. Finally, Mr. Boring called on her. And how about you, Cleopatra? She liked the way he said her name, long and drawn out with a trill on the R like an actor in one of those Shakespeare plays. I'm extremely curious to know how you got your intriguing name. Intriguing? He hadn't called any of the other kids' names that. Cleo's heart hammered. Her mouth went dry. She was still eager to share, but she was also crazy nervous. She realized. I got it from my birth mom, she began proudly. Your what? It was Rowdy Jimmy Ryerson. Mr. Boring made a whistling sound and held up his hand in a T. Time out, he said. Jimmy, that's strike one. Jimmy's name was the first to go on the board. Mr. Boring put a mark next to it. Please continue. The floor's all, his eyes roamed the room, yours. Cleo liked the sound of that. She swallowed and kept going. My birth mom is the lady who gave birth to me. She looked at Jimmy, obviously, before I was adopted. She had no problem with telling people she was adopted. It wasn't a big secret. She named me Cleopatra because Cleopatra was a powerful and smart woman, and also a very beautiful African queen. And my birth mom wanted me to know that I'm these things too. She held her name tent and pointed to where she added her new middle name. My middle name is Edison, which is my mom's unmarried name. My mom who adopted me, I mean. We are definitely related to the genius inventor and entrepreneur Thomas Edison. But don't ask me how, because I don't remember. But you're not really related if you're adopted, are you? Jimmy blurted. Mr. Boring eyed him and added a second mark. Did I mention that the 3 strikes program lasts all day long? There's a lot of day left, Jimmy. In conclusion, Cleo pressed ahead with her prepared remarks, in spite of the warmth in her cheeks and the shakiness that had overcome her. My name is Cleopatra Edison Oliver, president of Cleopatra Enterprises, Inc. She ran her hand under her name tent with a flourish. But you can just call me Cleo. She folded her hands on her desk and flashed them her best CEO smile. A few kids laughed, which was fine. She had meant for her audience to be entertained. Jimmy raised his hand. Mr. Boring hesitated. Yes, Jimmy. Why did that woman want you to think you were a queen? You can't be a queen unless you're from a royal family. Cleo scowled. Now she was getting mad. In her birth mom's eyes, I'm sure Cleo will always be a queen, Mr. Boring interjected. A pain shot through her chest, as if her heart were a peeled orange and someone had stuck in their thumbs and pulled it into 2 sections. Mr. Boring smiled at her, a nice smile. Heat rushed over her face. Cleo blinked away, and tears that had sprung to her eyes in a surprise attack. Thank you for sharing, Cleo. Micah? Cleo didn't hear anything of what Micah said. The name game had turned out to be the lame game, and a bit of the shame game. Anyway, it was a real stinker. Cleo and the rest of her class all shared their names and how they got them. They didn't even have a choice in choosing their names. But everyone makes choices when it comes to name calling. Please join me, Willie the Wildcat, in celebrating and choosing kindness. Thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your Virginia Reads One Book program, LFK Little Cats. Enjoy the rest of Cleo Edison Oliver, Playground Millionaire. Go Wildcats! Rah!